Manchester City are FA Youth Cup champions once again. A year after losing in the final, they regain the trophy in their hands. They will dance to the Samba beat, and Heskey will lead the party. All names with new revivals, helping Manchester City on the way to silverware once again. Manchester United pushed them. Their FA Youth Cup history is well known, but this year is not their year. A new moon of blue moon characters rises in East Manchester.
Yeah, I mean, heartache last year for Manchester City in the Youth Cup final, and they've managed to regain the trophy. I think on the balance of play over 90 minutes, they probably do deserve it, even though when you look at the real quality in that final third for either side, it wasn't great this evening. However, cup football is always about the final result, and these are the times now as a player that you need to enjoy, because they don't come around too often, winning big prizes as well. But on the Manchester United perspective, this will always be a learning curve. As a youngster coming through, you've got to learn from these situations of things you've done well to get to a final, and what can you do next time. But I think you're going to see a lot of stars now from both of these sides, especially someone like him. It'll be a tough one for him to take, but there is so much potential here in both sides. We know that they produce brilliant youngsters. They go on to have international careers. But this evening, the glory does belong to Manchester City.
Regan Heskey, already starting to make a name for himself within higher Manchester City ranks, has returned to the under-18 setup tonight and has gifted them with FA Youth Cup glory. On the losing side, it really hurts. If you're the winners, a bright future may beckon. Full time at the City Football Academy at the Joy Stadium. Manchester City under-18s 2, Manchester United under-18s 1.
Thank you very much, Mike and Adam. It is perhaps fitting that it's here at the Etihad campus that City do a league and cup double. They came close to that last season, winning their league, but beaten by Aston Villa in this FA Youth Cup final. They've put that right, getting a late-ish winner from Regan Heskey, son of Emil, to beat Manchester United of all opponents by 2-1. As always, in moments like this, spare a thought, obviously, for the young team that have to taste defeat. One of them had to tonight. Robbie Savage alongside me. Those Manchester United players will learn, and the City players also will take a lot in winning and losing. There's something here for young players, isn't there?
Yeah, United came alive when they went 2-1 down.
Yeah.
You know, but it was a good game. I think City deserved it. McAdoo on this right-hand side was exceptional. You know, the pace he showed. You know, he was the best player on the park. And Heskey, we've seen Emil in the stand when his boy scored.
Yeah.
You know, I know the feeling from a proud father's point of view. You know, and he'll be delighted, but it was a great finish. And on the whole, I thought they deserved. I thought City should have had a penalty as well in that second half. So yeah, I think on the night the best team won.
Yeah, that certainly, it felt from the sidelines to be the case. Certainly City dominate, as we thought they might in terms of possession. That is clearly the style that runs from top to bottom of the club. They play a certain way. They didn't threaten United's goal that often, though, did they, for all their possession?
No, they didn't. You know, United had a good shape, and you know, all the Manchester United players and the City players can be proud of their performances. I'm sure their families will be proud.
Yeah.
You know, all the hard work that goes into it. And Darren Fletcher, who I know personally, he's brilliant with the youngsters. You know, Colin Little as well, as the Manchester City staff will be with their players. So, you know, it was a good game, a good atmosphere. I thought both sets of fans backed their team, and yeah, well done to Man City.
Oh, nice to hear.
They
Two
left
young
you hanging
boys.
there.
I know. Well, I've got 3 microphones now. But nice to hear from the horse's mouth just what it means.
Yeah, of course, and they defended really well. They had a good shape of bat and they had a lot of possession. And they were right, though, they had match winners then in the wide areas. You know, the two boys out wide, you know, Heskey was on the fringes, but that goal was superb. And McAdoo on this right-hand side, you know, let him go 1v1. You know, I'll change my mind at half-time when you said we'd take any players. I'd certainly take,
yeah, well, I'm not sure you can afford it.
Probably not.
Left over word, the main man at Forest Green. But, yeah, I think clearly, as we just heard from the skipper there, even if they didn't always do the right thing, they attracted players to them, and that creates opportunities and space for others.
But you can see, you know, when under Pep, when Grealish was here, you know, he wouldn't go past players all the time, but he would attract two players, open space for everybody else. McAdoo and Heskey do that also, so you can see there's traits of the first team all the way down through the academy, because you just draw players to you and leave space for everybody else. And these two youngsters spoke exceptionally well. You know, you know, on the TV, you know, credit them, credit. You know, Manchester United players, as the youngster said as well, he give credit to the opposition.
Yeah.
So well done to them.
And I think McAdoo's already obviously spent some time with the first team. Imagine as a wide boy like Heskey or McAdoo tonight to be learning off the Dokus and Savinhos and Ryan Cherkys. I mean, they're only a couple of years older than one of them or two of those.
Yeah, I think they'll have a better learning in the National League with Forest Green, to be fair.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you know?
But again, what is the next stage for this group now?
Yeah, good question.
So the next stage, you know, is it a loan to the league or to the National League to go and experience senior football on a regular basis? That's how they develop. You know, because this is a brilliant trophy to win.
Yeah.
You know, and it's you know, the under-18s, the youth cup, it's brilliant. But now, if they go to under-21 football, I think, you know, under-21 football, is it real? You know, is it, you know, they take a lot of touches, they don't move the ball quick enough, you don't play for 3 points. Yes, it's great to be involved in the system, but you've got to go out now. So the next stage, I'm sure, listen, all the clubs like Man City, Manchester United and all the top clubs have pathways, and, you know, go out and now experience senior football. You've won the best trophy there is to win at this level, you know, but don't get stuck at the 21 level. Be brave and go and test yourself.
Yeah, because it's hard to get into Pep Guardiola's team, clearly. Phil Foden, who's watching here tonight, can't always get in that first team then. That doesn't leave a lot of space for the kids here. But clearly, it's a moment in their young lives. It's a big moment.
Yeah.
But it's also a launch pad. Make the most of it when everybody knows your name.
It's also a big moment for their families. Because I said before the game, you think that the grandparents, the parents going, you know, all over the country, you know, taking their kids, and it's a reward for their hard work also.
Well said. More from Robbie, and we'll try and obviously get some more reaction from those involved. But let me hand you back to Mike as the teams, obviously, as you can see now, going up to collect their medals. Mike?
Thanks, Matt. They're being handed their runners-up medals. Manchester United by Rick Parry, chair of the EFL. It is a keepsake, it is a memento, but it's the one you don't want.
Yeah, it'll be a hard one for them to take, of course, and you get to the final and you want to be coming away with the trophy, and this is such a prestigious trophy in football, especially youth football as well. But listen, we've spoken a lot of what the qualities of what Darren Fletcher's brought to Manchester United as a player, but now he's bringing on that experience of what he's brought to the club, but now feeding it through to these players, and you have to learn from these situations.
Yeah, spoke to so many coaches over the years in whatever sport, whether football, rugby league, cricket. Sometimes you learn more from the disappointment, and you can grow more from the disappointment than the victories, but it is, of course, the titles and the honours that the various teams want. There were some big saves tonight from Cameron Byrne-Hughes. He just couldn't stop the critical one. Fired past him by Regan Heskey. Heartbreaking faces that Manchester City were in 12 months ago. Manchester United will, of course, look to go on and claim the trophy they have won more than any other side in 12 months' time. For now, in a moment, they will have to watch on and watch the blue half of the city with the silverware that they came for. Oliver Rice in his second season in the job. They have won the under-18 Premier League North title. Manchester City, they face Chelsea in 8 days' time, the winners of the Premier League under-18 South competition. Boys, who had a strong coaching background in Germany, came to Manchester City as part of their academy setup, said the philosophy of the club aligned with his own. He's put down his wine as Pep Guardiola, probably selecting which under-18s he might want in the first team setup for the weekend's game, or next Tuesday's Premier League game against Bournemouth maybe. FA Cup final for Manchester City's men to come on Saturday, of course. They take on Chelsea. Manchester City, who to get to the final, scored 3 goals in 10 minutes to turn it around against Fulham in round 3. They beat Arsenal 5-2 in round 4, Chelsea 4-1 in round 5. At the quarter-final stage, it was a 3-0 win over Everton. In the semi-finals, a 4-1 win over Blackburn. It is a team that scored goals. They might have struggled to score tonight. They got the 2 that mattered.
They would do. I mean, it was a game of fine margins, and in the end, just that bit of brilliance within that final third from Regan Heskey, finding out the winner. But I think this squad showed a lot of character after the defeat last year in the Youth Cup final. To come back again, that's never easy. To find yourself in another final against your biggest rivals in Manchester United have set the standard for youth football a generation from when I was playing, the players that they produce, the amount of times that they won this competition. And what you need to do as a football club is start with the youth and build that winning mentality throughout the squads, leading all the way through to the first team. And this is where it begins now for them in under-18s football, to go on to the professional game and see how far they can go.
And they are watched on by some who have stepped before them. Phil Foden here tonight is perhaps the model representative of that Manchester City conveyor belt. 40 years on since Manchester City beat Manchester United in their only previous meeting in an FA Youth Cup final. Back then it was Lake, Redmond and Hinchcliffe. Now perhaps it's Braithwaite, McAdoo and certainly Regan Heskey. 12 months on from the heartbreak, they picked up the pieces, and Manchester City are FA Youth Cup champions for 2026. A trophy that will mean so much to a bright crop of young players. Who knows what their future holds, but tonight the most famed prize in youth football is theirs. The FA Youth Cup belongs to Manchester City.
Well, I hope they're all okay after the slightly dodgy trophy lift that involved a collapsing plinth. He seems wryly amused. Of course, he's got an FA Cup final to look forward to on Saturday. They will be setting off from here tomorrow afternoon.